So what are you thinking?
I don't know, Saini.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm thinking. Honestly, I was thinking about asking you what you would do, but you would not tell me because you would be like, oh, everyone is different. I'm not, feeling your feelings, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Which
it's...
is true. I'm not saying it is not true. It's just like a boring answer.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So there are two sides to what I think about this whole thing. Or,
Okay.
yeah, two things. Thing number one is, a part of me really hope everything would turn out good and, you could find joy in being together. That would be great.
Okay, since
But-
it started,
Uh-huh.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was say. Since you started with the good one, then
Yeah.
the most likely one is gonna be the other one.
No.
That's probably the yeah. Go ahead. Sorry,
So-
I'm just
Yeah?
explaining my thought
Yeah.
pattern right now.
Yeah,
I'm just
okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I, like, in my heart, I would want to be the case. That would be great. But I genuinely do not want you to get hurt again or more. I don't know if that's even possible, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking about, like, all those weeks back when I talked about, the moth and the flame.
It almost feel like what's the word for it in English? Stalemate or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I cannot see of what I could do or her could do to, I don't know,
Yeah.
because it is unreasonable for me to just like after that to be like, yo, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
let's talk and just basically, as I said, fool
Do the
me
same thing
once,
again.
shame on me,
Yeah.
fool me twice, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And at the same time, because she did that, I don't know what could she say to
Make it worse.
make it
Or
make it
happen
better
again. Oh, better. Yeah.
or fix it because of that,
Mm-hmm. So, I don't want to try to explain away what has been said and what hasn't, but remember how I kind of mentioned that it seemed like she, like her panic reaction to say, oh yeah, let's just be friends. It sounded like,
Yeah.
or I kind of gathered from what she was saying that that was not what she necessarily intended to say, but she did.
Okay.
And how that, I don't remember what you said to that. I think you said,
What you said
what
just
was
now.
it?
So I said something along the lines of like, there is nothing to like misrepresent. She said what she said, and there is nothing unclear in what she said.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what you said specifically. I just know this was sort of my answer to it.
Yeah. So, yesterday when we were riding around and you were talking about, just walls up and all the, you just trust your family, that's it. Remember that?
I don't plan to care for nobody no more. Just on That sort of level, I guess. It's always the same.
Right.
And I'm tired of getting hurt.
Yeah, I get that.
So I just cannot trust nobody. Besides Hydra. Only people that I'm gonna care for is my family. And it's them. Anyone outside of that is just... I cannot trust what they say, how they feel. And I'm never gonna give them an ammunition.
And I bet you meant what you said, but what you probably didn't mean to do was kind of take a jab at me while doing that, right?
What does that mean?
So, I know because you were sad, you were angry, you were hurt. You basically said, fuck everybody else. Hydra is the only thing that matters.
What I said is just like... Those are the only people that I can trust.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people hanging out with Hydra daily. Like, I don't know if you know them, but like Emmy or Eliana.
Okay,
They're
yeah.
not Hydra, but they're with the Hydra daily, Selena. And they would be in the same boat. Like, I'm with them, I help them if I can help them. It's just the fact that I'm not gonna give them the opportunity to hurt me. I'm not gonna be vulnerable with them. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
If that makes sense. Okay?
Yeah.
Is
I mean, I get that. I understand that. I also understand how this shit works. Like, there is this line between being part of a family or a group or whatever and not being. But in that moment, it felt like while I was sitting there listening to or talking to you about this big hurt of yours, trying to kind of
So you're basically trying to say that it felt like I don't appreciate you.
it felt like you said, yeah, I can't trust you, like, you don't really matter. And
I wouldn't say to anyone they don't matter.
yeah, I know. But you see, so why I'm bringing this up is you said those words, and that's what I kind of emotionally took out of it, while I intellectually understand that that's not what you said, or that's not what you meant. You did not mean to hurt me in that moment, but you kind of did. And the only reason why I didn't bring it up then was because, you know, you were just hurting so much, and I kind of realized, yeah, this is not what he's trying to say or do. This is not about me at all. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It might be, maybe I see differently because of I kind of see how it works for the gangs, right? Because eventually, like, I say that, but everyone thinks that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
It could be anyone, any gang member from
Yes.
any gang, right?
Yes.
You can be friends with them. You can be best friends with them.
Yes.
But if their leader, for whatever
Yes.
reason, the reason better be good, tells them to shoot you, they're gonna shoot you.
Yes, and I understand that. I understand that that's how it works.
So, and that's how I, like, perceive people. Like, it's just like...
Is this guy
it's so
doubling
hard
down?
to explain, especially when I've been awake for like fucking 14
Yeah.
hours, but I'm gonna do my best, alright?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I don't like those people. I don't like people around. I like people from other gangs. A lot of people are cops. Today, I shot cops that I like.
Yeah.
It just like it doesn't mean that like nothing. It
Yeah.
just like I don't know how to explain it.
No,
Do you
and
know what I mean?
I know what you mean, and I know what you're trying to get at. Like, there are just some things that just are a certain way. But what I'm trying to say is sometimes, like in that moment, I knew you were talking about something that was fact. This is how it works. And still, I felt, yeah, I didn't feel super good about it.
Yeah,
just because
I don't blame you.
Yeah, just because the situation that we were in, and the things that I've basically told you, I told EJ just like 2 days before that. You know, how important you've become to me. And it was something that I kind of feel like I needed to hear. But it hurt. In that moment. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I understand.
So, and the
I
reason...
wasn't thinking about that, to be honest.
I know. And that's why I didn't bring it up then. Because I know that that's not what you meant. It wasn't about me in that moment at all. But I couldn't remove that from...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Again, I understand.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is, you know, we sometimes say things that we mean, but we don't mean them in the way that they affect people, right?
I can see what you're getting at, but at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You brought that up.
Yeah.
I tried to explain, and you know, like that it wasn't meant the way, you know.
It was and it wasn't, because as you said.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't really matter. But what I'm trying to say is like, you brought it up, and you know, we're discussing it, and like trying to explain and talk about it, and quote unquote fix it or whatever.
Can you see how he's?
But that wasn't the case with EJ. And she said something. I double checked. Okay, I literally asked that. She basically said the same thing again, and there was no talk or clarification or nothing or no anything to like fix it.
Okay, but
or
can
explain or anything.
All right. So my counter argument to that would be,
Yeah.
If I'd told you in the moment that, do you actually mean that? You'd say yes. Are you actually sure you mean that? You'd say yes. Because still, when I ask you, like, a day later, do you mean that? You say yes, because that is the truth.
Yeah, but
you did not mean it in, you know, it's still, like, more complicated than that. And, okay.
Yes.
So
also,
for her, I feel like in the moment, because she was in her kind of panicked state where she's like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna say, let's just be friends because it's just gonna be better or easier or whatever that way. But when I talk to her, for example, like hours or days after the fact, it's different because she's not in that emotional state anymore. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because she clearly, like, what she keeps telling me is she would love to talk to you, but she understands if you don't want to. So that kind of tells me that there's stuff that she would like to say when you're ready to hear it. And it might be that it's nothing that will change anything. It might be that it's just, nothing's gonna change, nothing's gonna get fixed, things are gonna get worse, whatever. That's, I'm not clairvoyant, I don't know.
I don't think anything can get worse than this, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but so when you say there's been no explanation, she just doubled down, yeah, she did in the moment. But she's tried to, yeah, I don't know. Now at least it seems like she wanted to talk, but yeah, I don't know.
You know that talking to her was the basically
Yeah.
what decided.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to pressure you to do anything because it's not my decision by any means. And it's not something that I necessarily think is a good idea.
You think it's a bad idea?
I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea either.
Okay.
Like, so
I thought so.
so the instinct for me is always to talk to people. Until, you know, you get to a point where you can just say there's nothing else to talk about. And in a situation like this, it seems like you're a little bit on different pages where you feel like there's nothing really that can be said that will, you know, worth it. And she might be feeling that there is something that she would want to say. So again, it's like, it's one of those things where yeah, there's not like a right answer.
Okay. I say something, but this part, don't tell her that. Okay, just this is just for you. Okay.
Just for me.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
Yeah, I won't tell her.
It would look a little bit different maybe if she would attempt at least, you know, not just like telling you or anything, but she would just like text me or like make an attempt, because this to me is not an attempt. It's just like,
yeah,
you know, maybe I don't know what, like, you know, I don't know what I would.
Yeah,
it would depend what would be in the text. It just like would look a little bit different. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but at the same time, she it's one of those things again where she has been making an effort to give you space, right? Because after the conversation ended, it's like, okay, it's not like I can't push this. You get that? You understand what I mean?
I mean, I do and I don't. I see what you're trying to say, but at the same time, I'm not that type of a person, because I would probably end up pushing because I'm impatient and I cannot be in between. I need to know where I am. Like, I need to, otherwise I lose my mind. So I would not be able to do what she's doing right now.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's again, you're different people, but it's 100%. It's also because, you know, the talks where, you know, this is where it also becomes very, very difficult when I'm in between. Like the both of you.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I would. You know what I should have done? I was thinking about it back then. When we spoke about the dog park, I actually wanted to ask her if she wants you to be there as a like a moderator or whatever. Or not a moderator, but like, you know what I mean?
Whatever.
Mediator.
Someone,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but
And if that would happen, I think that it might not.
Oh my god.
Be like this, but at the same time, in saying that, okay.
Yeah.
It should be just me and EJ thing, right?
Yes. Yes, like, exactly. I have no fucking part in this whole thing. I can't I can't be your fucking chaperone. I can't like be hand-holding you through a relationship. That's not it's like I mean yeah, okay. I'm not gonna say anything else because it's just gonna sound weird. But
I know where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah, because it becomes difficult because I also express to her these things, you know, like, because she asks, what do you think I should do? What should I, like, stuff like that. And because the reason that, and that's also why I tell you, I don't know. Because it's better that you figure it out, because if I tell her, yeah, I think I think he needs space. Like, it's not gonna be, it's so inflamed right now, you can't fix anything right now. And I probably, I think I told her that, like, he needs space. That's probably one reason why she hasn't reached out.
Oh yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So basically, the fact that you are in between, you might
Yeah.
be interfering and
Yes.
basically changing the decisions
Yeah.
without, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like, it ends up me being some sort of weird puppet master, just, you know, without even wanting to be. But just kind of trying to figure out, like, okay, yeah, Jasper is very fucking hurt right now, and he doesn't want to talk to you. In her head, that translates to, yeah, he probably needs time and space.